The Zarkax Federation prided itself on being the most technologically advanced civilization in the known galaxy. For millennia, they had encountered and subjugated countless species, each falling before their superior technology and military might. So when their long-range sensors detected an unknown vessel entering their territory, they approached the situation with their usual air of superiority. High Admiral Vextor stood on the bridge of the Sovereign Light, the flagship of the Federation's 7th Fleet. His crystalline eyes focused on the holographic display showing the approaching vessel. It was massive, nearly 2 kilometers in length, with a design unlike anything they had encountered before. But what caught his attention wasn't its size. It was the primitive energy signatures it emitted. Curious, he mused, his translucent fingers dancing across the control panel. The vessel appears to be using nuclear fusion for propulsion. How quaint. His second-in-command, Sub-Commander Kyra, analyzed the incoming data. The ship's hull is composed primarily of titanium alloys and carbon composites. Their shield technology appears to be rudimentary at best. Weapons systems seem to be based on kinetic projectiles and chemical explosives. Vextor's mouth tendrils twitched in amusement. Another primitive species thinking they could venture into the stars. The Federation's policy was clear. All new species must be evaluated, and if found wanting, subjected to proper guidance under Federation rule. Open a communication channel, he ordered. Let's see what manner of beings pilot this vessel. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a human female in a crisp white uniform. Her dark skin contrasted sharply with her silver-streaked hair, and her bearing spoke of authority and confidence. This is Captain Sarah Chen of the United Earth ship Prometheus. We come in peace and seek diplomatic contact. Vextor's amusement grew. They were bipedal organisms, similar to many species the Federation had encountered. Their language was simple, their mannerisms basic. Everything about them screamed of a civilization barely past its planetary bounds. I am High Admiral Vextor of the Zarkax Federation. Your vessel has entered Sovereign Federation space. Our scans indicate your technological level is insufficient for unrestricted galactic travel. You will power down your systems and prepare for boarding. The Federation will evaluate your species for potential protectorate status. Captain Chen's expression remained neutral, but something flickered in her eyes. Admiral, with all due respect, we are not seeking protectorate status. We are an independent civilization conducting peaceful exploration. We request permission to continue our mission. Vextor's patience waned. These primitives needed to learn their place. Your request is denied. Power down your systems immediately, or we will be forced to disable your vessel. He gestured to Kara to begin targeting procedures. The human captain's response was unexpected. Instead of fear or submission, she showed only calm resolve. Admiral, I strongly advise against hostile action. We would prefer to resolve this diplomatically. You are in no position to make demands, Vextor declared. Your vessel's capabilities are known to us. You possess no technology that could pose a threat to a Federation warship, let alone our entire fleet. Chen's expression remained unchanged. Admiral, there's an old human saying, appearances can be deceiving. I ask once more, let us proceed peacefully. Vextor had encountered such bravado before, from countless species who thought they could resist the Federation. It always ended the same way. He cut the communication channel and turned to his weapons officer. Target their propulsion systems. Disable them with a low-yield graviton pulse. No need to damage our newest protectorate's only interstellar vessel. The weapons officer complied, and the Sovereign Light's primary weapon array hummed to life. The graviton pulse, capable of disrupting any known propulsion system, lanced out toward the Prometheus. What happened next would forever change the Federation's understanding of humanity. The pulse, which should have effortlessly disabled the primitive vessel, simply vanished 100 meters from the Prometheus's hull. There was no shield flare, no energy dispersion, nothing to indicate how the attack had been neutralized. For the first time in his long career, Vextor felt a flicker of uncertainty. What happened? He demanded. Kyra's fingers flew across her console. Unknown, Admiral. Our sensors, they can't seem to get a clear reading anymore. It's as if. She paused, double-checking her instruments. It's as if the ship is somehow blocking our scans entirely. The massive human vessel hung motionless in space, its seemingly primitive exterior now taking on a more ominous appearance. The communication channel reopened, and Captain Chen's face appeared once more. Admiral, she said, her voice carrying a note of resignation. I did try to warn you. Now, allow me to show you why appearances can be deceiving. The bridge of the Sovereign Light fell silent as the Prometheus began to change. What had appeared to be simple hull plating shifted and flowed like liquid metal, revealing layers of technology that had been completely hidden from their sensors. Geometric patterns of light rippled across its surface, forming complex arrays that defied Federation understanding. High Admiral Vextor watched in stunned silence as his entire understanding of human technological capabilities crumbled before his eyes. The vessel's energy signature, once reading as primitive nuclear fusion, now pulsed with power that exceeded anything his sensors could measure. Impossible, Kyra whispered, her fingers trembling above her console. The readings, they're beyond anything in our database. The power output alone is. She shook her head, unable to complete the thought. Captain Chen's voice carried across the communication channel, steady and professional. What you initially detected, Admiral, was merely our ship's baseline configuration. The Prometheus was designed to appear non-threatening to potential allies or overconfident adversaries. As if to emphasize her words, massive weapon ports materialized along the Prometheus's hull, appearing from seemingly solid metal. Each emanated an energy signature that made the Federation's most powerful weapons look like children's toys. Full scan. Vextor ordered, fighting to keep the panic from his voice. I want to know everything about that ship. Sir, his science officer reported. Their hull. It's composed of materials we've never encountered before. The molecular structure appears to be in constant flux, adapting and changing at the quantum level. Their shield technology isn't primitive. We simply couldn't detect it because it exists in multiple dimensions simultaneously. The Prometheus's transformation continued. What had appeared to be simple maneuvering thrusters revealed themselves as advanced gravitational manipulation arrays. The supposedly primitive nuclear engines were merely a facade, concealing a propulsion system that bent the varied fabric of space-time. Captain, Vextor addressed Chen, struggling to maintain his composure. Your deception was impressive. But surely you understand that the Federation still possesses superior numbers. Our fleet. Chen cut him off with a gentle shake of her head. Admiral, please don't make this situation worse than it needs to be. The Prometheus isn't just a warship. It's a demonstration of human technological capabilities designed specifically for first contact scenarios like this one. As if on cue, new data flooded the Federation's sensors. The Prometheus was broadcasting detailed technical specifications, not of its weapons or defenses, but of its diplomatic and scientific capabilities. The vessel carried laboratories that could unlock the secrets of dark matter, medical facilities that could cure diseases thought incurable, and cultural archives containing the combined knowledge of human civilization. Your society values technological advancement above all else, Chen continued. We respected that by revealing our true capabilities. Now shall we begin again? This time as equals. Vextor's mouth tendrils twitched with a mixture of humiliation and fascination. The humans had played their hand masterfully. They hadn't just built an advanced warship. They had created a vessel that could shift between appearing primitive and revealing overwhelming technological superiority at will. The Federation. He began, then paused, choosing his words carefully. The Federation would be interested in learning more about human technological achievements. Perhaps we could arrange a cultural exchange. A small smile crossed Chen's face. That's exactly why we're here, Admiral. The Prometheus carries our finest scientists, diplomats, and cultural experts. We believe there's much we could learn from each other." As the tension on the bridge slowly dissipated, Vexter couldn't help but admire the elegance of the human strategy. They had entered Federation space appearing vulnerable, allowing potential adversaries to reveal their true intentions. Those who chose diplomacy would find allies. Those who chose aggression would discover just how advanced humanity really was. The supposedly primitive vessel had taught the Federation a valuable lesson. True advancement wasn't just about possessing powerful technology. It was about knowing when and how to use it. And humanity, it seemed, had mastered both. Aboard the Sovereign Light, the Federation's best xenotechnologists worked frantically to understand the true nature of the Prometheus. Each new scan revealed layers of technology that seemed to defy the laws of physics as they knew them. But it was the ship's next revelation that truly shook the Federation to its core. "Admiral," Kyra called out, her voice trembling slightly, "we're detecting something unusual within the human vessel's quantum matrix." Vextor, still recovering from the earlier revelations, moved to her station. "Explain." "The ship's internal structure. It's not just adaptive. It's growing, evolving. The entire vessel appears to be a single, living technological organism." Captain Chen's image reappeared on the main view screen, her expression now carrying a hint of pride. "We call it biomechanical integration," she explained. "The Prometheus isn't just a ship, it's a symbiotic entity that grows and learns alongside its crew." The Federation sensors revealed the truth of her words. Throughout the vessel, organic and mechanical components worked in perfect harmony. Neural networks merged seamlessly with quantum computers. Living tissue intertwined with metamaterials that could alter their fundamental properties at will. But how? Vextor found himself asking. "Your species was barely reaching for your moon less than 2 centuries ago." Chen's response was measured. "Necessity, Admiral. Earth's resources were limited, our system isolated. We couldn't build our ships the way other species did, through brute force and endless expansion. We had to think differently." As if to demonstrate, a portion of the Prometheus's hull became transparent, revealing internal systems that seemed to pulse with life. Organic computing nodes processed information faster than any artificial system. Living metal flowed through the ship's veins, repairing damage and upgrading systems in real time. The Federation has always believed that technological advancement meant replacing the organic with the mechanical, Chen continued. "We chose to combine them instead. Every member of my crew shares a neural link with the Prometheus. We don't just operate the ship. We are the ship." The implications stunned the Federation scientists. Humanity hadn't just created advanced technology. They'd evolved alongside it. The Prometheus wasn't merely a vessel. It was the next step in human evolution. "But the risks," Kyra interjected. "The computational power needed to maintain such integration. The potential for cascade failure. Were all solved through adaptation." Chen finished. "The Prometheus learns from every encounter, every challenge. The more we face, the stronger we become." As if to prove her point, the ship's external structure began to shift again. But this time, instead of revealing weapons, it demonstrated its adaptive capabilities. The hull reformed itself to better withstand the local space conditions. Energy systems recalibrated to operate more efficiently in the Federation's territory. Vextor watched in fascination as decades of Federation technological doctrine crumbled before his eyes. They had always sought to conquer nature, to impose their will upon the universe. The humans had chosen to work with it instead, creating something entirely new in the process. "Your stealth capabilities," he realized suddenly. "They're not technological at all, are they?" The ship simply adapted its biological components to appear primitive. Chen nodded. "Mimicry is one of the oldest survival strategies in nature. We simply perfected it. The Prometheus can appear as primitive or advanced as needed, adapting to any situation it encounters." The implications were staggering. Every Federation attempt to assess human technology had been fundamentally flawed because they were looking for machines, not living systems. They had scanned for power signatures and energy weapons, never considering that the ship itself might be alive. "Captain," Vextor said, his voice carrying a new respect, "I believe the Federation's assessment of humanity requires significant revision. Would you be willing to share some of this knowledge?" Chen's expression turned serious. "That depends, Admiral. Are you ready to learn that everything you thought you knew about technological advancement might be wrong? That the path to the future might require unlearning much of your past?" The question hung in space between them, as profound as it was challenging. The Federation had always been the teachers, the advanced civilization showing others the way. Now, for the first time in their history, they found themselves in the role of students. And the lesson was just beginning. The next few hours aboard the Sovereign Light were unlike anything in Federation history. As the Prometheus continued to demonstrate its capabilities, the balance of power shifted dramatically. What had begun as a routine encounter with a seemingly primitive species had evolved into a profound revelation that threatened to reshape galactic civilization. "We're receiving a request from the human vessel," Kyra announced, her voice steady despite the tension. "They're offering to demonstrate their medical technology." Vextor considered the offer carefully. The Federation's medical sciences were among their most advanced achievements. If the humans' other technologies were any indication, what they were about to witness would be extraordinary. "Permission granted," he responded, curiosity overcoming caution. The demonstration began with a simple transmission, a complete cure for a genetic disorder that had plagued the Zarkak species for millennia. The Federation's best minds had spent generations trying to solve it. The humans had apparently developed the solution during their initial scan of the Sovereign Light. "This is impossible," the Federation's chief medical officer sputtered, reviewing the data. "The complexity of the solution. They would have needed to understand our entire genetic structure, our complete evolutionary history." "The Prometheus doesn't just scan for threats," Captain Chen explained. "It analyzes everything: biology, technology, culture, history. Understanding is the first step toward cooperation." But it wasn't just medical knowledge. The Prometheus began sharing solutions to problems the Federation hadn't even recognized they had. Ways to increase the efficiency of their energy systems, methods to reduce the environmental impact of their colonization efforts, techniques for sustainable resource management that would revolutionize their entire approach to expansion. "Your generosity is unexpected," Vextor admitted. "Most species guard their technological advantages zealously." Chen's response was thoughtful. "Earth's history taught us that technological hoarding leads to conflict. True advancement comes through sharing knowledge, not restricting it." As if to emphasize her point, the Prometheus's hull shifted once again, but this time it created something new. A three-dimensional star map that filled the space between the two ships. It showed thousands of worlds, each marked with specific resources, challenges, and opportunities. "These are worlds we've discovered that could benefit from Federation expertise," Chen explained. "Planets where your experience in colonization could make a real difference. We're not interested in competing for territory, Admiral. We're interested in cooperation." The map expanded, revealing even more systems. But what caught Vextor's attention were the annotations, detailed analyses of each world's potential, not just for exploitation, but for sustainable development and cultural growth. "You've been watching us for some time," he realized. "Learning about us, understanding our needs." "Of course," Chen confirmed. "That's what the Prometheus does. We don't just explore space, we explore possibilities. Every species we encounter has something to teach us, something to contribute to the greater whole." The implications were staggering. The humans hadn't just developed advanced technology. They'd developed a completely different approach to civilization itself. While the Federation had spent millennia building empires through force and technological superiority, humanity had been quietly creating networks of knowledge and cooperation. "Your ship," Kyra observed, "it's not really a warship at all, is it?" "The Prometheus is whatever it needs to be," Chen replied. "A warship when threatened, yes, but also a laboratory, a diplomatic mission, a cultural exchange center, and a teaching tool. Its true purpose is to bridge gaps between species, between technologies, between ways of thinking. As if in response to her words, the Prometheus began to reconfigure itself again. But this time, instead of displaying weapons or defensive systems, it created something unprecedented, a direct neural interface that would allow Federation scientists to experience firsthand how the ship's biological and technological systems work together. "This is our invitation to you, Admiral," Chen said, "not to submit to our authority or marvel at our technology, but to join us in exploring what's possible when different species work together. The question is, are you ready to take that step?" Vextor looked around his bridge, at the faces of his crew. Where there had been fear and uncertainty before, he now saw curiosity and hope. The Federation had always believed they were at the pinnacle of development. Now they were being offered a chance to learn that there might not be a pinnacle at all, just an endless journey of discovery and growth. And for the first time in his long career, High Admiral Vextor of the Zarkax Federation found himself eager to become a student once again. 3 months after the historic first contact between humanity and the Zarkax Federation, the galactic political landscape had transformed beyond recognition. The Prometheus's revelation had sparked a revolution in how advanced civilizations viewed technological progress and interspecies relations. In the Grand Assembly Hall of the Federation's capital world, High Admiral Vextor stood before the gathered representatives of 100 species. The chamber, usually arranged in strict hierarchical tiers based on technological advancement, had been redesigned at humanity's suggestion. Now all species sat as equals in a circular arrangement, symbolizing their interconnected future. "My fellow beings," Vextor began, his voice carrying across the vast chamber. "For millennia, the Federation has measured civilization by its ability to dominate, to control, to impose order through technological superiority. Today, I stand before you to admit that we were wrong." Captain Chen sat among the Earth delegation, the living metal of her neural interface subtly shifting beneath her skin. Around her, Federation scientists wore similar interfaces, gifts from the Prometheus, allowing them to experience technology as humanity did, not as a tool to be wielded, but as an extension of life itself. "The humans," Vextor continued, "showed us that true advancement lies not in the technology we possess, but in how we choose to use it. Their Prometheus vessel wasn't just a demonstration of superior capabilities. It was a lesson in the power of adaptation, cooperation, and understanding." The chamber's holographic displays came to life, showing the results of 3 months of collaboration. Federation worlds where human biomechanical integration had revolutionized everything from healthcare to environmental restoration. Human colonies benefiting from Federation expertise in stellar engineering and gravitational manipulation. Species that had been deemed too primitive for contact now flourishing under a new approach that valued potential over current capabilities. "We stand at a crossroads," Vextor declared. "The old Federation sought to rule through power. The new Federation, shaped by humanity's example, seeks to lead through cooperation. Every species, no matter their current level of development, has something to contribute to our shared future." As if to emphasize his words, the Prometheus, still in orbit above the capital, began its most ambitious transformation yet. The ship's biological systems reached out to interface with the planet's own ecosystem, creating a living network that connected every being present to a shared consciousness, not to control or dominate, but to understand and learn. "This is what humanity offered us," Chen added, rising to stand beside Vextor. "Not submission to a new power, but participation in a new way of existing. Every species brings its own perspective, its own solutions, its own piece of the universal puzzle." The assembled representatives watched in awe as their combined knowledge flowed through the network. Ancient rivalries dissolved in the face of shared understanding. Technological barriers crumbled as different approaches merged and evolved. The Federation was becoming something entirely new, not an empire ruled by the strong, but a community strengthened by diversity. "We name this new era the convergence," Vextor announced. "An age where technology serves life, where advancement means growing together, where every species' unique qualities contribute to our collective evolution." The Prometheus's influence had spread far beyond its original mission. What had begun as a demonstration of human ingenuity had become a catalyst for galactic transformation. The ship's ability to adapt and evolve had taught the Federation that true power lay not in domination, but in the ability to change, to learn, to grow. As the assembly concluded, Captain Chen stood at one of the chamber's vast windows, watching the sunset paint the alien sky in brilliant hues. The Prometheus hung in orbit above, its living metal glowing with the combined knowledge and potential of 1,000 worlds. "Did you ever imagine it would turn out like this?" Vextor asked, joining her at the window. Chen smiled, watching as the ship initiated another transformation, this time incorporating elements of Federation design into its ever-evolving structure. "The Prometheus was never just about showing our capabilities," she replied. "It was about proving that the greatest technology isn't the kind that sets us apart. It's the kind that brings us together." As night fell on the Federation capital, the stars seemed to shine brighter than ever before, each one a promise of new discoveries, new connections, and new possibilities in a galaxy that had finally learned to grow as one. The age of separation was over. The age of convergence had begun.